In this activity, we are going to find out which liquids mix well with water and which liquids do not mix well with water. We are going to group liquids as miscible and immiscible. For this activity, we need a beaker filled with water, a dropper, test tubes with test tube stand, sample of cooking oil, lemon juice, vinegar and acetone. Take a test tube, add a few drops of cooking oil. Keep the test tube back in the test tube stand. Take another test tube, fill it with water, add a few drops of lemon juice to it. Keep the test tube back in the test tube stand. To the third test tube, add a few drops of vinegar. Keep the test tube back in the stand. To another test tube, add few drops of water. To this test tube, add a few drops acetone. Keep the test tube back in the test tube stand. Now let us observe each test tube. In the test tube where we added oil, we can see two layers being formed. One of water, another of oil. So, oil does not mix well in water. Keep the test tube back. Now take the second test tube and observe. In the test tube where we added lemon juice, we cannot see two layers being formed. Lemon juice mixes well with the water. Keep the test tube back. Let us observe the third test tube. In this test tube, vinegar and water have mixed well with each other. Now, let us put this test tube back in the stand. Let us observe the fourth test tube. In this test tube, where we added acetone and water, we can see two layers being formed. One of the water, another of acetone. Keep the test tube back. What do we conclude from this activity? There are certain liquids which mix well with water. Liquids like vinegar and lemon juice. These liquids which mix well with water are called miscible. There are some liquids which do not mix well with water, like acetone, which forms a separate layer on water, and cooking oil, which also forms a separate layer on water. Such liquids which do not mix well with water are called immiscible. So we can classify liquids as miscible and immiscible on the basis whether they mix well with water or they do not mix well with water.